Hi guys, it's Jake here at Canadian Cutting Edge, and today we've got the Sanrenmu 7034. This is a flipper or thumb stud activated blade. I just used the thumb stud right just now. It's a sub 3-inch blade, 7.6 centimeters, a little bit less than that, so that it fits in those laws that some people have to live with that are kind of archaic, if you ask me. But we've got a liner lock knife, 8CR13 MOB, made in China, Sanrenmu knife, just like Sanrenmu makes all their stuff in China. This guy is my second knife of this style. My first 7034 was one of the other three that you can find at GearBest. And I just had it sitting around and I used it, and I just forgot to do the review of it. It's one of those that's got the GRN handle scales. This guy's G10 with holes in the handle. The other three models with the identical blade style, one satin, two with a coated blade, have solid handles, and they sort of have that glass-filled nylon kind of handle scales instead of this G10 style. I just forgot to do the review of that guy. So this one, when I got it, I figured I need to let you guys know all about it. I got this from EDC Vault. The guys out there, the guy out there sent it to me. He's a Canadian, so you can get this at EDC Vault for $14.99 Canadian. And you can buy it at GearBest for closer to $12, $13 plus $2.50 shipping, something like that. So very much the same price. So if you want this knife, you can buy it in Canada. If you want one of its siblings, you're going to have to buy it from China. So if you're interested at all, I think you should stick around for the full review. The flipper works very well because it's got really good pivot, nice bearings, and not bearings, nice washers in there. Let's this time start off with dimensions. We'll do all that stuff and get that out of the way. Cutting edge on this big recurve cutting edge, 7 centimeters, 2.76 inches. The blade length, so up from the G10 to the tip, 6.78 centimeters, 2.67 inches. So a little bit less, which makes sense because it comes down and sweeps away. The blade thickness is 2.41 millimeters, which is 0.094 inches. The thickness of the edge behind the grind, so right where the silvery steel edge turns into that black paint, 0.55 millimeters, which is 0.0215 inches, which is a very good thickness on a knife this size. It could be a little bit thinner and still be strong enough for that steel. So 0.55 isn't bad. 0.45 would be really good. 0.5 would still be good. So 0.55, not bad either. The handle length is 9.86 centimeters, which is 3.88 inches. The grip area, so starting at this finger choil up here for the index to the end of the handle, 8.1 centimeters, 3.2 inches. Handle thickness is 1 centimeter, that's 0.4 inches. The total length of the knife when it's open, 16.45 centimeters, which is 6.48 inches, just under 6.5 inches long. It only weighs 64 grams, which is 2.3 ounces. It's amazing what a little bit of skeletonization can do to save some weight, right? The price for this knife. If you want to buy this knife, EDC Vault has it for $14.99. That's Canadian. That's in stock in Canada, and he will ship it to you very quickly. You'll get it in just a few business days. If you want to buy it from GearBest, the various versions of these, they have 4 of them. You're talking between $906 and $927 US dollars, plus about $1.60 for shipping. In Canadian dollars, it's $11.17 to $11.43 plus about $2.33 shipping. In euros, it's 759 to 777 plus 135 for shipping. And in pounds, it's 672 to 688 plus 1.4 pounds for shipping. So it definitely is worth it to buy this from Canada if you want to get it in a little bit of hurry from EDC Vault. But if you want the other ones, or you want a satin blade, whatever, you want something else, GearBest is a good choice as well. I prefer both of those stores, so it's kind of hard for me to say which one I would prefer sending you to. Okay, so now that you know how many shekels this thing will set you back, let's try some cutting demonstration and see how well the thing cuts. Regular copy paper, printer paper. The belly part right here seems to be quite a bit sharper than the recurve part. You can see how clean that edge is right there. And then I'll try on a recurve here. And you can hear the difference. Let's try to cut up some paracord here. There's 4 layers of paracord right there. Zipped right through that very easily. I got to get a cutting board put down here. And, slices right through that very easily. Push down, cut right through that. Not bad at all. You could even take this thing out of doors and, cut some wood with it. Do some really fine cutting if you want to. Look at those fine little curls I'm cutting off. And I can go harder if I want to too, So, yep. Almost have to go on slow motion. I think it was a little off the camera there a little bit. But, yeah. You can cut quite well. Very, very smooth to the touch there, except for where I skipped a little bit right there. The cutting edge, I've got no problems with that at all. Let's talk about the features or lack of features on this knife. There are 5 holes back here, but there's no real lanyard hole. So if I close the blade, it cuts into all of those holes, so you can't really use that last hole for a lanyard hole. You could possibly tie off on that last pillar on the open pillar construction. You can see in that shot that the blade gets a little close there, so you might cut into the lanyard if you tie off on there. So it's probably not a knife that you can put a lanyard on. Open pillar construction, as you can see very clearly right there. G10 is blue with black on the surface, so you get that accent of the blue popping out right there. That's kind of nice. Clearly, it's a liner lock. It's a thin liner, not much extra strength there, but it's a small knife, so I think that liner lock is adequate for this knife and for the kind of jobs that you would use a smaller knife like this for. There's no blade play back and forth, up and down. Lock up, I've already talked about. Blade centering is very good. There's quite a significant recurve here, isn't there? Really significant belly, and then a bit of a recurve here, which makes this knife a little bit unique. There's not that many recurve blades that are this small. It's a little bit trickier to sharpen this, but you can learn to sharpen a recurve blade as well, even with a system that you clamp it on, like the old Lansky systems and all the siblings of that. Well, not legitimately siblings, but similarly made ones where you've got a stone that slides along a bar, and there's ways of doing this as well. The Lansky system has round rods that you can use, and so that they can get right into the negative part of a recurve. And other systems have a similarly narrow kind of stones that can get into recurves as well. Not a problem. Even my TS Prof machine, the K02 that I have, can get into this recurve quite easily, I believe. I've done other knives like this, and that's why I'm having that conclusion. It's a good size. It's a good weight. It's feels good in the hand. One con about it is you've got that huge thumb riser right there. Like that's not part of the flipper's back here with the jimping. So you've got this huge riser here, and it's a bit too much. You have to stay behind it if you want your hand there, which pushes your whole hand back a little bit, sort of in an uncomfortable way. I'd like my thumb to be right there. And if I put my thumb right there, let's give you a better view of this. I'd like to have my thumb right there, and that means I'm just pushing, creating a hot spot right there. So I can either reach my thumb way over, and that's awkward, or I have to keep my thumb back here, and that's slightly awkward. So I'm not really fond of this right here. If I bought the satin version of this knife, I am very much convinced that I would grind this down. Just take it right down. Just be careful not to overheat it. You're not going to, well, it's easy to grind that down and not make this edge so hot that you lose the temper from the heat treat and everything. You can take that down. If that was smoother there, that would make this knife, a lot better. That's the biggest negative I have about this knife. We've got some jimping on the flipper arm right there, so you get lots of traction when you go to flip the knife. Whoops, it wasn't all the way closed. It won't flip when it's not closed, right? Because then it's already past the detent. So that works really well, and my dog's barking again. Although I don't think it's really necessary. It would probably work just fine if that jimping wasn't there, but it's not a problem either. It's a little bit harder to do the light switch method. It's easy to do the light switch method. It's a little bit harder to do the push down method because you just have a narrow spot there to push down on. But there you go. You can pull up a little bit on here and do it without cutting yourself, at least with the knife the way it is from the factory. The cutting edge isn't so sharp that you're going to hurt yourself too easily this way. If you squeeze really hard, yeah, you're going to cut the end of your finger if you do that. So I'm not advising this. I'm just saying I was tempted to do this when I had it, because with my index finger up there, then my thumb could ride in here, and then I could do some delicate work very well and did it quite comfortably. So, who knows, if I were to keep this knife for myself, I might just create a sharpener's choil in there because it doesn't have one, and I'd like it to have one. And that would give me a little bit more room to have a safe finger up there, and that'd be a good thing. Even with this painted, I might grind this down a little bit just so that I can put my thumb over this area right here. It does make it would definitely make a difference on how much I like the knife if that wasn't the way it is. Somebody with smaller hands might find that there to be actually a bonus. They might feel better with it there. It's just my hands happen to be that size, large size, right on the line between large and extra large. Sometimes I buy extra large gloves, sometimes I buy large. It just depends on the manufacturer. That's between 9 and 10 in the European measurements. Everything else, I like it quite a lot. It's comfortable. It's got a good look to it. It's actually, I don't like everything else quite a lot. The pocket clip is only tip down right side. I really like pocket clips when I have the option of doing tip up or tip down. And I like it to be a little bit deeper in the pocket. I'll show you how deep this sits. There's my surrogate pants. It goes into the pocket quite well. It grips quite well. It's not a super big pocket clip, and I don't like a super big pocket clip. And there it is in the pocket, but we're talking about between 2/3 and 3/4 of an inch sticking out. 1.7 centimeters roughly sticking out of the pocket with this knife. So that's about the pocket clip. Again, this is the model 7034 LUI-GHI. There are 3 other models. I'll show you the pictures of those right now. I don't feel like I did a great job doing this review, but I think you get a pretty good idea of this knife. Again, I'm having a really terrible pain day, and I've been having more and more of those lately, so hopefully I'm going to get past my extra painful days and start to get better pretty soon, or back, if not better, back to my normal levels anyways. So there's the review of this knife. If you would like to get one of these knives, please consider using my links in the description below. And if you buy it from EDC Vault, leave them a note in the purchase that you bought it from because you saw it on Canadian Cutting Edge. that would be helpful because he's a supporter of this channel by sending me some free knives to review, and that would help him get a sense that, helping me out is helping him out. If he gives me a coupon code at EDC Vault for any discount, it will be in the description below the video. Just click where it says show more and you'll be able to see all the details and the links. So thank you so much for watching this video. Thanks for liking, commenting, subscribing, sharing, all that other great stuff. And remember, guys, always cut towards your chum, not your thumb.